7 years of war in Syria, with the end still nowhere in sight. That's largely because Russia has propped up the brutal government of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis told reporters Tuesday.
They have no business there, and our goal is to move the Syria civil war into the Geneva process so the Syrian people can establish a new government that is not led by Assad.
As rebels battle Russian and Iranian-supported Syrian troops in the country's west, the United States is supporting local forces fighting Islamic State in the east. But the U.S. military hasn't stayed completely out of the civil war, with President Trump striking twice against Syrian forces in retaliation for chemical weapons attacks on civilians. And after Russia hinted of another potential chlorine attack this week, Mattis made clear no chemical attack would be tolerated in Syria.
I will assure you that Department of State has been in active communication, recent active communication with Russia to enlist them in preventing this.
With Islamic State fighting to keep less than 2% of the territory it once controlled in the region, Trump earlier this year called for American troops to leave Syria.
It's time. It's time. We were very successful against ISIS. We'll be successful against anybody militarily. But sometimes it's time to come back home. And we're thinking about that very seriously.
But Mattis said there's still work to be done, including defeating Islamic State in the Euphrates River Valley and training local forces to fully take over their own security.
If the locals are able to keep the security, obviously during this time we might be reducing our troops commensurate with their ability to deny ISIS a return. But it really comes down to finding a way to solve this problem of Assad's making.
That solution, he added, should come from the Syrian people through the United Nations Geneva peace process, which has so far failed to stop the violence or set up a new government. Carla Babb, VOA News, the Pentagon.